Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products, using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca. Another night, another loss, another blown lead, more power play struggles. Same story, same result for the Edmonton Oilers. 5-3 they fall at the hands of the Florida Panthers. Jason Strudwick is standing by to break it all down. Welcome to Got Your Back, live post-game edition, brought to you by our great friends over at Sherwood Buick GMC. Big event happening over there later on this week. The 24th and the 25th, the biggest Black Friday sale that they have had yet. Over $7,000 in discounts, finance, cash, and trade-up bonus. Make sure you mention Got Your Back sent you. Not only will you receive the specialized pricing as a bonus, you'll also get 3 free ultimate detail packages on a new or used vehicle. Go see Phil and the great crew over at Sherwood Buick GMC. Check it out online, www.gmcpod.com. Coming to you from the beautiful Long Shot Studios here in Sherwood Park. All game days are all-day happy hour specials. $5 Long Shots Lager. As we check in with the man, Jason Strudwick. Struddy, I'm here in the Long Shot Studio, and we got some new technology. I got a different camera happening. I've got a little bit different. I've got different options with the camera. I can throw some filters on. We can try some different focus things. I love new technology day, buddy.
Yeah, you're really in the zone. Are you trying to take yourself from a 6 to a 6.5? Or
yeah, I can.
What's the goal here?
See, I can. What can I do here? So this, I have no idea if this is going to work or not. By the way, Steve, working the controls in behind the scenes in Kelowna. Steve, what can I do here? I'm pushing buttons. I don't know what they do. What did this do?
Yes.
What happened?
Oh, really good. I like that.
You look better. That's for
You
sure.
like that
I really
better?
like that. Yeah.
I'm currently dressed up as the Oilers power play. How's that?
Yeah. It's straighten your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Oilers fans are going to need a laugh, man. Like, we did a Sunday night pod last night. We were howling through most of it. And, it's tough. Like, to be a fan, that's the thing. I do the journalist thing. I'm not a fan. I don't sort of live and die with the wins and losses. But Oiler fans have to be stinging right now. They're on the stream. They're waiting patiently, chit-chatting with one another. It hurts. You can tell. Feel for fans, Struddy. What a ride.
It's like when you're younger and you're waiting for, like, say, like the new PS5 or whatever it is called, PS2, whatever it is, and you open up the Christmas morning and instead you have a new lunch kit. It's a lunch kit, and you're like, what? What is this? Like, I do feel it. Like, I don't know if I feel it as a fan, but I think I feel as a player. Like, you can just tell they're just like, what the hell is happening right now? Like, they're so close to the point of, either kind of getting on track or this season being off the rails, like within 25 games. Like, it is truly incredible. And I can't imagine the feeling Oilers fans have, because come out 2-0 lead, like, hey, feeling pretty good. Bang, another loss, 2.5 hours or 2 hours later.
And probably most of them legitimately feeling like, a Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah.
Truly. And I don't know. I mean, I picked them. I've never, in all the years I've covered the Oilers, I've never picked them. I did this year. I don't know, man. Were we all just stupid? Were we all just like totally not able to see what was real? I was like, I'm trying to think back. Who was the voice of reason that before this mess started was like, hang on, that depth scoring is not anywhere where it needs to be. There's no guarantee McDavid and Draisaitl are going to go lights out like they always do. Those goaltenders you can't trust. Health on the, like, where was the voice of reason? I don't recall.
No. I mean, to be fair, I did pick Vegas to be first in this division, but I still thought it would come down to them to get out of the Western Conference.
Right.
And it hasn't been even close to that. But, who would have expected that you have two of the elite players in the last number of years having, struggling, the power play struggling, just the D zone just not getting better, but getting worse. That is what is truly incredible with so much focus on it. So
it's getting worse. I agree, buddy. It's a great point.
It's so hard to understand. It's just, I feel the pain. I feel the pain as a player because you think, let's just park the Stanley Cup to the side. Just the playoffs, like making the playoffs now, this team is really got to get on the right side of the puck more often. And it just, my God, it's just got to be so disheartening in that dressing room.
Yeah. So here's just setting up the podcast quick. Segment 1 here, the breakdown. We're going to break down the game in its entirety, everything that happened, what was awful, why it went the way it went. There were some very interesting post-game comments tonight. Connor McDavid, Matthias Ekholm, even Chris Knobloch had a couple of interesting things to say. We're going to bump all that sound into our takeaway segment because I really want to focus and listen to what they were saying after this game. There were some things that were said that I feel are indicative of where their heads are at right now. That'll be takeaways. We'll have sprinkling the infield or blowing through the rest. We haven't decided yet what that other segment's going to be called, Struddy's World. And then, of course, taking all of your thoughts on the stream in our Ask Us Anything segment. Steve is gathering the best of the best, so make sure you send us some stuff. Time now for the breakdown, though, brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel, Edmonton's heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop. A unique spot for a couple of reasons. They can do custom jobs, right? Custom exhausts, engines, body work. If you can think of it, they can get it done. They're also the Ghostbusters, right? If the other guys can't find the problem, and if you're struggling to locate the issue, Marty and his staff, they're like a dog on a bone. They will not quit until they fix it. They love the challenge. High standards and great service. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Now, their good start brought the right stuff to the rink, came out and played well early, good energy, good juju. Everything was going well, Struddy. And again, it's like the exact same question I asked you last time. It's 2-0. And then what the heck happens? And I imagine the answer has to do with a penalty by Evander Kane.
Right. And, we talked about the game management. I broke it down in Struddy's World last time about understanding the situation. And, that penalty against Tkachuk, you can't take it. I'm sorry. That is a penalty you just can't take. He wants to draw you in. He wants to get you going. But it just, to me, it was overzealous. And know where your team is at. Your team isn't. The penalty kill right now it's at the same level as the power play as far as futility. I really feel that way. They're both
fragile, man.
Fragile and just like over attacking in areas. Like what I would say to the Oilers on the penalty kills, let everyone do their job. Just let them do their job. Don't do someone else's job. Do your own job. So anyway, I just, that's poor game management by Evander Kane, a guy who usually gets more often on the right side than not than those ones. That one, you cannot take that penalty, Schauger.
And a bit of a theme for Kane tonight. Like, he took 2, didn't he? Took 2 minor penalties. Yeah. And then at the end of the game, but the thing is he was engaged and he was throwing hits and he was menacing. It was like the two sides of Evander Kane. He was exactly what this team needed tonight in so many ways with his play, but ill-advised penalties that hurt them. And then later on in the game, in a pivotal moment, gets taken out of the game with a 10-minute misconduct. Makes himself completely unusable through the most crucial minutes of the game. There aren't enough players that do this on this team. So you don't want to, even if you're a coach, you probably don't want to pile on them too much. But you got to figure out a way to engage, but not go over the line and have it go negative the other way.
But you're going to have to realize, though, as a team, there are nights where he's going to go step over the line, and you have to maybe not accept it, but you have to understand it, right? So I think that the challenge for Evander is understanding where they're at right now. Like, they're just, the team needs you. Like, you're one of the guys that is scoring. You're one of the guys that brings energy, to the game. So they can't afford you to be in the either the penalty box or taking yourself out of the game like he did. So he's not going to change, and you don't want him to change because that's what makes them different than other players. But that game management, poor timing by 91 tonight.
Let's walk through the goals here. 2-1, the 2-1 Verhaeghe goal on the bad penalty. Rolling puck And I'd like to talk to a goaltender. Like, what's the difference when it's coming off a guy's stick flat or rolling as compared? Does it affect your ability to pick it up? You could say great shot, maybe should have had it, but rolling puck to me, Struds, makes it feel like it's tougher.
It's so hard because you don't know where it's coming off. As a shooter, you don't know where it's coming off, right? So how's the goalie supposed to know? But on that play, and I thought Jamal Myers, and I like him too as an analyst, he did a great job. Why is McLeod coming all the way over to that side? Right, that is not 100% puck.
Yeah.
If you lose that puck battle, you know where it's coming. He even comes halfway. It's coming right back to your guy in the slot, which ended up being Verhaeghe, who scores a goal. So I didn't like that overcommitment by him. If you're going there, you're not going there to visit. You're going to get the puck out.
Just a comedy of errors on the second one. 14, Ekholm hits Hyman with the clearing attempt. If you back that sequence up far enough, you'll see Evan Bouchard make just a horrendous play behind his own net, gobsmackingly bad. And they never did clear the zone. The bad bounce there, Ekholm off of Hyman, it ends up in the back of the net. One that the goaltender probably wants back, but a comedy of errors there.
Yeah, for sure he wants that goal back. And on a night when I thought Picard was actually pretty good. But and I understand what you're saying about Bouchard, but for Ekholm, his head is up. He has to get that puck out. There is that's a veteran D man. That is why you're on that team. You're on this team to make sure that play. So yeah, we can talk about, the Bouchard's play behind that. We can talk about the netminder, but that is what a veteran defenseman is paid to do. His head was up and he hit his own player in the back. There, you go up the wall or you zing it higher. There is zero room for that not getting out.
The reliability in his game right now compared to last year, I'd put it at 60%. I think it's that bad with Mattias Ekholm right now, just in terms of being a guy that you can rely on. I think he's making way more mistakes than he did last season and in the playoffs. I think he's been fighting through injury, right? We know that he wasn't healthy, but the reliability in his game, and I think it's because some of the speed has come out of his game and he doesn't have as much time. And I feel like a lot, and it's not just him, man. This runs throughout the D. Let's go to the 3-3 goal. Broberg trips over the drop stick. That's just tough luck. I don't know if we're going to pin a ton of blame there. What did you see?
It's bad luck. I mean, That's the one that, no, that isn't the one the nurse goes down, or it is the one the nurse goes down. I can't remember.
What was it? Broberg tripped over the drop stick. Oh yeah, went off the sliding D-man stick. Yeah. Was that nurse that it was sliding there?
It was a nurse or Kulak. I thought it was nurse. My notes say nurse. I might be wrong, but I don't like him going down there. I just wouldn't go down in that situation. Yeah. Obviously, the Oilers coach it that way, but yeah, it's honestly, that's bad luck. It's Mikko Makala coming in if it was 2-on-2, you don't even worry about it. He blows a wheel because he steps on the stick. Broberg, that is. Now it's a 2-on-1 and he gets lucky. So whatever.
Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl get put on the ice to kill off the final seconds of penalty kill. And then that leads them into a 5-on-5 shift. I didn't like it at all. McDavid got caught on the wrong side of a battle and gave the puck up. He ends up going back up ice. Leon Draisaitl, big circles and meandering in his own end. I hated the look from those two on that next shift. Ends up in the 4-3 goal. A meandering shift from 97 and 29 for some of that I saw. What did you see on the 4-3 goal?
Well, a lot of people are criticizing Bouchard for the pinch. I actually think he did a good job. He
had lots of help.
When you pinch, you either stop the puck or the man, and he stops the man.
Yeah, that's not him.
It was still a 2-on-2 kind of. So you got Connor Brown and Kulak, I believe, back there, and they try to communicate, but there's misunderstanding about who's taking who. You cannot both go to the same guy. At first, they go to the same guy to the left.
It was weird because he even pointed. He pointed, and then they both went to him. Like, what?
It's like then they both go to the other guy, and then the soup's on. Then all of a sudden, all hell's breaking loose. You're running around. When you come back into your own end, you stop and assert your position. If you go back and watch that play, there's guys coming and they skate and they kind of just swing through.
That's where Bouchard was brutal. That exact thing you just talked about.
Did the same. Leon did the same. He swings higher. So it's everybody. It's not just on. He's not just wearing that, Bouchard. But do not blame Bouchard for the pinch world. You stopped the man who stopped the puck. He did it. But then there's way more guys like Connor and Kulak. They veteran guys. They know better. Leon knows better. Comes back. Even Bouchard stopping, not swinging, just straight lines as defending.
Yeah, and listen, I hear you. There were other guys. I won't criticize them for the pinch. But what I will say is if you watch players who have the ability to affect that puck on the scoring play, If Evan Bouchard comes back, makes a hard play on the puck, and puts on the brakes instead of swinging, none of that happens. So I'm going to pin it a little more on him than I think you are. And man, we've been pinning a pile on him lately. Just a pile.
But there's Connor Brown and Kulak should figure that out, right? It all starts because those two can't sort it out. It's just that is where you assign it. Say this is because then after that everyone's just scrambling to catch up. So could Bouchard have played it better? Yes, but he's way down the list of guys I'm looking at in that play.
Our gem of the night after the last game was Zach Hyman saying we need to do a better job of bailing one another out when mistakes are made. Tonight, I think, was another great example of that not happening, Struds, where guys were making mistakes and other guys were not there to pick up the pieces and to back them up, just in weird positions, wandering around, looking at each other in the defensive end. It's a bit of a disorganized mess back there. And a bit of sound will play in the next segment, a little bit of talk about the system from Matthias Ekholm. But I would say that the D, and in terms of making sound plays and being organized, I think they're really struggling with that. And I don't think the forwards are doing good enough in terms of helping them out and supporting them by being in the right spot. It's messy, man, in their own end. It's messy.
Yeah, Jammer was talking on the broadcast, and again, I thought he did a really good job. You talk about coming 5 on the die. So when you back check into your own end, 5 on the die. So that, if you can picture what that looks like on a dice, you protect your front of the net and you stop in those areas because the puck's got to come there. For the other team to score, it's got to come there. And when you vacate that spot or swing around and do J turns, that opens up that area. Right. So it's so basic. And he was talking about how you talk about that in minor hockey. You do 5 on the die, 5 on the die, 5 on the die, just so they have a visual. Right. And, you just that specifically that play, there was no 5 on the die. There was people all over the place. And, for Chris Nombach, he's got to sort that out and help the players sort it out quicker.
Special teams, let's hit on it again. We're hitting on it constantly here. Were they 0 for 3 on the power play? Is that where they landed? 0 for 3. So I believe they're 0 for 11 in their last 3 games played. 0 for 11. This team, with this kind of weaponry, these guys, and all the opportunity that they've been getting, again, come up with absolutely nothing. And Struds, I'm willing to say at this point, what did I take in my notes? So the most important power play of the game, that last one that they had. Yeah. Let me see here. Where is it? I'm going to go back and find it here. So this was their last power play. Lost a draw, puck cleared. 97 mishandles on the entry, clear. 97 with a bad pass, clear. Bit of a sort of not really chance, not really anybody there to pick up a rebound, clear. That's it, top unit off the ice. That's all they were able to muster. It was brutal.
Yeah, it was tough, and they're doubting themselves. It's
so much.
They're doubting themselves. They're doubting their ability to create, right, and to be dangerous. And I think they're forcing it. They're forcing plays that aren't there, or at least that I don't see. Cross ice passes when there's a stick there. I can get it through. Well, you're not feeling it right now. It's not getting through there. So, to think that. The last 2 games, they're 0 for 5 and 0 for 3, I believe. If they score 1 in each game, they probably win those games, right? We're probably talking about 4 points.
Yep.
Instead, here we are, or at least we're talking about probably a point in each game. Instead, here we're talking about 0 for 8 on the power play. And then you've got what? The penalty kill is bleeding as well. So, going back to last year, if they scored every 3, 1 out of every 3, that's even 2 goals. Right, to 2 goals, and you're probably winning those games. So, man, it's everything is just not firing for this team. Now, there's not a single thing that is working for this group right now, and their heads have to be spinning.
Heading over to the Weiss Johnson Twitter mentions, Brian Young says, get Kane on PP1 unit right now. Do you think a change in personnel is maybe worthwhile there, swapping out Hyman?
I do. 100% do. And fresh energy, just a different look, a different approach. Like what they're doing isn't working. And I get you want to, it was so good last year and it was great. And it was good last year and it's been good for a long time, but it's not working right now. And you can't wait any longer for it to find its mojo. It needs to find its mojo tonight. They needed one tonight at the end of that game. So yeah, I would swap them out in a Brooklyn minute, as they say in Boston.
Would you make a 97 and 29 being reunited tonight?
He was going to ride those guys all night long, right? What did they end up? Wasn't Connor like
24 minutes for
24?
McDavid, 25-17 for Leon Draisaitl. Wow.
He is, as soon as he went 11-7, I'm like, he's going to ride these guys all night long. And you know what? I've been advocating against that, but right now I'm for it because they need to get those guys going. And we saw spurts of it from 97 tonight, 29. You know, there's some moments too, but not like what we're used to seeing consistently. Man, you know, you're just going to ride him because you got to get going. But I don't think that the Hyman Kane pairing is working. I think you got to split those two guys up. So, you know, to do that though, you got to split up Connor and Leon. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what he's going to do next game, but I can tell you this is that it's so hard because you're trying to find someone who's going. You know, there are not a lot of forwards that are really going at their top level right now.
Going to dig inside the numbers here, courtesy our friends at Sport Logic. Steve got a board together, a few of the key stats that we felt were, you know, representative of some storylines tonight. 18-9, the slot shots on net, Florida kind of dominating the inner area of the ice there. Turnover scoring chances. The Oilers give up 11 scoring chances off of turnovers. Odd man rushes, 9 is too many in a game. 9-4 was the final score there. And then final score 5-3. Steve threw that one in there. You know, the one I would throw in there and said, Steve, and this isn't exactly in-depth Sport Logic numbers. We're just going to keep a hit count on Ryan McLeod here. Ryan McLeod's night, 15-29, had an assist where he actually went to a tough area of the ice, made a tough play, took a hit, good on him, proceeded the rest of the night to not throw a single hit, and took one shot on net for the third-line center of the Edmonton Oilers Hockey Club tonight in a night where they needed all hands on deck. Yeah, that narrative it's just been consistent all year long. No question about it. Overall, what do you think of Pickard? What are we saying? I mean, I thought he made some big saves, but
huge save. I thought, you know what? He hasn't played in a while in the NHL or a game, just a hockey game. I thought he looked pretty good. I liked his rebound control for long stretches, swallowing it up, you know, and kind of hugging it all in tight. I thought he looked good. You know, the Mikkola goal off of the turnover, I'd definitely like to see that one stopped. But other than that, honestly, I didn't think I wouldn't pin this loss on him at all, Shogger. What about you?
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, the one that he would want back, but considering the amount of hockey that he's played lately, giving up one that you maybe want back, I'd say isn't the end of the world. I thought he made some big saves. I thought he bailed his guys out a couple of times. Man, I thought Darnell Nurse was messy. I thought there were, a couple plays in particular. Like Matthew Tkachuk just fed him his lunch on that one play coming off the wall. Like how you get beat one-on-one when you're the size that Nurse is with the mobility that he has, that just tells you that the player is not playing with confidence. Had like 3 guys there to help him and still could not make a simple play. Tkachuk made a nice move, but Darnell Nurse has the ability to negate that 10 times out of 10, and he gets absolutely walked. And then later on in the game, forward scrambling in behind him and his partner, Nurse knows he's there, right? Still pass gets right through him for a partial breakaway in the other. He had some tough looks tonight for sure.
Yeah, I'll go back to this, and I say this all the time about Darnell. When he's trying to do too much is when he gets in trouble, because he finds himself in between. He's such a good skater. He's so mobile that he gets way up in the play when maybe there's nothing there, and then he's got to get way back, and he has to rush so hard back. So, you know, I think for a lot of times, less is more from Darnell. And that doesn't mean less skill or less playmaking. It just means take a shift where just nothing maybe happens, right? And I think it was Ekholm actually talked about it. You know, some shifts are for 5 minutes, just control the game. You don't have to score. Just control the game for those 5 minutes. And I think Darnell would fall underneath that heading of trying to do too much when there's nothing there to be done.
I don't mean to be too hard on the blue liner, Struds, but there's a lot of struggling players back there right now, man. Like there really are. And their struggles get highlighted because quite often it's scoring chances that come as a result of their mistakes, whereas forwards maybe not so much. But this blue line is a shadow of what I thought they had the potential to be this year.
Yeah, and I think it's unfair to pin it all on the D. Are there individual mistakes? 100%. We've highlighted many. But I do think that it's you know, playing defense and defending is 5-man units. It's not just, you know, what 2 guys on the back end. And obviously I'm a little bit
but let's not talk about, I'm not talking about overall blame for what's gone wrong and saying that they deserve a disproportionate amount. I just want to focus on that blue line. on that collection of players. And I just don't think they're nearly as good as even you, certainly as I would have thought they would have been this year. They're not playing well individually as defensemen.
I think the word I'd use to describe them is they haven't been steady, right? Just steady, consistent play. And it is hard when you're bleeding chances and all that. And then at times the inconsistent goaltending, but I do feel that they just haven't been steady. I expected this to be a much steadier group. For the most part, they're not rookie defensemen. You look through it, there's not a ton of rookies in there. I mean, Vinny's young or inexperienced, Broberg's young, but the other guys are all kind of the meat in their careers. Well, maybe Bouchard's a little young, but still, he's been around. He's north of 200 games, so he's getting up there. But I just expected it to be steadier and something you could count on, and you haven't been able to count on him yet. And there's D-men take a great deal of pride in not getting scored on every night. And I know that people in the analytics community don't believe in plus minus. Well, I'll tell you right now, as a defenseman, you do not like getting scored on. I don't care if your analytics suggests you're perfect. When you come in and you've let in 1 or 2 goals, it is, even if you didn't do anything for it, it really bothers you. Or at least any defenseman who's worth his weight, I believe it bothers you. So I think this group will be bothered by a lot of what's happening on around them.
All right, that was the breakdown brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel. By the way, Struddy's appearance on the pod tonight brought to you by Kin Print, helping you find creative ways to promote your brand. High-quality apparel, top-of-the-line brands. Make sure you check out kinprint.ca. If you're a new company in development and in design, they can also help you with some logo design stuff. Great crew, family crew over at Kin Print. All right, when we come back, we're going to dig into what was said after the game. Connor McDavid, Matthias Ekholm both had a few interesting comments. I want to dig into them, as well as head coach Chris Knobloch. Very short break, and then takeaways coming up.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything you need for the athlete and sports fan on your list. With over 30 different sports under one roof, including hockey, bikes, ball, and our amazing fan shop, United is your one-stop shop for everything sport. Don't know what to buy? A United gift card is always a fan favorite. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
If you're looking for a night out on the town and want to make sure you and your fellow fun lovers arrive safe and in style, call Ahmed Enterprises. With their stretch limos and party buses, they can accommodate groups up to 22. Servicing Edmonton and area, Ahmed Enterprises provides luxurious, reliable, professional transportation. Whether it be weddings, parties, casino nights, game night at the arena, or any occasion, give them a call at 780-231-6018 or check them out online at ahmedenterprise.com. Mention Got Your Back sent you to get 10% off your luxury ride.
Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park in Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca. All right, time now for takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Ride in style this winter in new snow sledding gear from Martin Motorsports. They carry amazing brands like Klim, 509 to B, and of course Skidoo. Their new 2024 lineup of winter gear is available now. Use the code GOTYOURBACK at checkout for $20 off your next order from Martin Motorsports online store. All right, we're going to get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here. A lot was said after the game. Let's start with Connor McDavid. He was asked a question by Mark Spector about, are you better off trying to win that thing 4-2 or 7-5 or something along those lines? It's a question that Spec has been asking a lot lately, and for good reason. Listen to McDavid's reaction here.
Are you better off to try to win this thing 4-1 or try to win it 7-5?
You love this question, but I've answered it so many times. We're trying to keep the puck out of our net, obviously. That's our main focus, and obviously we haven't done that, again, for a number of different reasons. So we're always trying to defend,
Here's McDavid on saying, he feels that his team is in the battle, that it's not about losing too many battles. It's not about giving up.
Lots of fight. I don't think the resiliency's gone. I think you're seeing lots of fight. I thought tonight was an emotional game. Could have gone either way again. Obviously we find ourselves on the wrong side, and like everyone keeps saying, we're in the business of winning, and we got to find a way to win.
Struds, what do you make of the captain's comments?
Well, he was right. I thought it was an emotional game. And, I like that. I like that they're showing up. They're sticking together. They're battling. No one seems to be bailing out on what's going on. And I think these two last games, they are both coin tosses, right? I think it could have gone either way. But right now it's not going for them, right? They're not getting those. They're not winning that coin toss. And they need those 2 points to kind of keep pushing. Luckily, it feels like the Pacific Division is kind of 3 teams than the rest of the other 5. But Rishaug, there's got to be another, if just even a couple things we talk about click in, the power play or the penalty kill or a little bit better defending, like taking 1 goal against per game, they're going to start winning them. But it seems like nothing is kind of finding its groove as they go through this stretch of games early in the season.
Evan Bouchard asked about the power play.
I think power play's got to find a way to put the puck in the net. Not only just generate momentum, but in a game like that, we're trying to get back into it, have a couple power plays. You really got to bear down and put the puck in the net.
They've talked about wanting to be a more timely power play, and they're really struggling with that here, especially over the last 3 games. Okay, interesting comments here from head coach Chris Knobloch. He was asked about the Evander Kane penalty. But Struds, take a listen to what he says about what he feels his team was probably thinking as we go to the Weiss Johnson soundbox.
Absolutely 2-0, and they score, and I'm sure the guys are thinking, "Oh, here we go again." But we should have been happy with the lead at 2-1 at that moment, and we just have to, whatever happens, put it behind us and just worry about our next shift.
I'm sure the guys are thinking, here we go again. He hasn't been around a long time, but if he's already sensing that from his team, we've been sensing that all year from this group, and there's the head coach articulating it.
Well, there's a dark cloud, right? It's just that when things can go sideways, they can go sideways. But I'll go back to the comments that Matthias Ekholm made about, just taking 5 minutes and just playing the game, trying not to score. Just say, let's just not have it like a low event 5 minutes so everything can settle down, right? And that's just calm things down. And Ekholm, I think one day is going to be either GM or a coach of a Swedish team or an NHL team, because what he says makes so much sense and it's so simple. It's like it's the most basic thing, but you know what, guys? We just got to play 5 minutes of a low event hockey so they don't keep getting momentum. It'll slow them down, then we can get back on our plane.
I've got that clip here from Matthias Ekholm. By the way, in this clip, he does allude to the system that the coach is implementing and if that's having an impact.
Yeah, obviously we have a new coach as well, right? And he wants to implement what he believes in, and we're trying to adjust, and not to put that as an excuse, but I think it's a work in progress, and it's something that when it is a work in progress, maybe, especially when you're saying we've had some good starts, we've gotten up. Maybe it's time for them to go through 5 guys. Maybe we can err on the air of caution, right? And not try to score that third one just right there, and just let it go 5. Let it go 10 minutes without them getting anything. Have to go through 5 guys to us. Obviously, they can score anyways, but right now I feel like we maybe give goals up a little bit too easy, and they don't really have to fight and crawl back in a game. It's kind of just come right back to 2-2, right? So that's on us. That's something we need to be better at. And
this is not a stern group. They're not a stern group when they have the upper hand. They're giving up leads left, right, and center here.
Well, they're getting good starts. I bet you Oilers fans will love to go back when Mikko Koskinen is letting in the first shot, and then the Oilers are coming back, steaming back, and winning games. But, the coach and you can often hear what is being said in the dressing room when the coach says something, and obviously one of your leaders says something. And they're both 100% right. Just because that 1 goal goes in doesn't mean the game's over. Just low event hockey for 5-10 minutes, get through whatever. The next TV timeout, then you have that segment, then it's okay. Then the TV timeout, then you come back and you can get your game again. But it's just I say it again. They're talking about game management, guys, and I'll keep hammering that out. But that's the reality, and Matthias is so on point.
Reminder, our sound box is brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Until December 1st, receive a complimentary duct cleaning when you buy a new furnace. The exclusive deal allows you to not only upgrade your heating system, but also improve the air quality in your home. Visit weissjohnson.com. Slow. Just a little slow on the draw there,
Floppy.
Steve. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I had a misfire. I almost played the show theme again.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? You've been off for a few days, so it's all good, buddy. We'll give you some grace on that one. Final clip here. Let's go back to Chris Knobloch, talking a little bit about what Ekholm was talking about, but just trying to find a way to settle into your game and not panic.
The effort's been great. I've no questions about that. But when you're frustrated, you often aren't thinking clearly with a clear mind, and often you forget an assignment, or you work too hard, you over back check and you open up the slot. Those kind of things where we need to just step back and just make the right plays.
What do you think?
Less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more. Like, you just get to the right spot and wait for the puck to come to you. And I'm not coaching NHL, but I coach a lot of young kids, and it's incredible. Like, I wish I would have coached before I played, because you just see it time and time again. If you're just in the right place, generally speaking, the puck comes there, right? That's why people have been doing these types of systems for decades, because you're in the right place and it comes to you. So understanding that and not trying to overcheck or over back check or do too much, man, it seems so easy when you're not the one actually participating in the game.
Back to the Weiss Johnson Twitter mentions here. Darren, keeping us a little bit honest here, Struds. And in our defense, when there's this much going wrong, it's tough to remember to cover it all. But he throws this one out there. RNH stat line, no points, 16% faceoffs, -2, 1 hit, 1 shot. Yet I still haven't heard any concerns for his game so far tonight. Fair point. This was a 100-point player last season, a critical piece of the power play that's struggling, a critical piece of the penalty kill that is struggling, and not generating. I think he was, one in his last 13 or something. I thought I heard Jack say tonight on the broadcast. So Nugent Hopkins, add him to the list of guys. It hasn't even been close yet.
There's been a lot of talk last year. There was a lot of talk about how he touches so many different parts of the game. So he's influential for sure on this group. And tonight he was with Hyman and Kane. And I stated earlier in the podcast, I don't like those two guys together. I think that those two err to the side of offense too often. So it's a lot of pressure on the center. So I think they got to split those two guys up. But that's not an excuse for Nugent Hopkins. He also has to kind of get going. And, I think that with the slow start points wise for Connor and a little bit less for Leon, I think he's been overshadowed a little bit by that Nugent Hopkins, right? But I think we can also look at his stat totals and think, man, he's not on the pace that we expected either.
We made a lot of noise / this guy made a lot of noise about Jay Woodcroft and accountability with this group. And it's coming up on the stream quite a bit, and I think it's totally fair. When is it time for this coach to start making some of those maneuvers from an accountability standpoint? Understanding he needs to come in and give players a clean slate, but how long should that last? Like, is it time for him to, do you sit Evander Kane after back-to-back bad penalties? Do you kind of skip over him once or twice in the rotation? Is it time to crack down on Evan Bouchard a little bit? Is it okay for the new guy to start doing that already, Struds?
Well, there are many different players that are doing different things, right?
That's
So
part of the problem, eh?
It's oftentimes it's easy to sit someone if they're not working hard. But I think for the most part, everyone's kind of working hard, right? Their minds are in the game. Has there been individual breakdowns? Yes. But, let's look past some of these goals tonight. So, and I've said it before, I don't believe you sit for one mistake. If it's a repeated mistake, you sit them. But, I guess if you want to be nitpicky, maybe the fourth goal a little bit Bouchard, but I believe there's other people that trumped him on top of that, right? So I would put Connor Brown and Kulak in front of him on that one. Ekholm doesn't get it out on the when he hits Hyman in the back. You just go through the various goals. So like tonight, who on the stream, who would you all like to have sat for a little while? Who was the accountable?
Well, Evander Kane could have after a penalty that cost his team, although he had scored.
Is that repeatable? Is that been a repeated offense all year long?
Well, not since the new coach has been here. No.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You're just tonight's the night. Someone's sitting no matter what, right? Like that's where things get dicey, right? It's hard to say that this is the guy because of this one play. Like now, if he does it again next game, then we can have that conversation. But people are just looking. There's got to be blood. There has been blood. Jay Woodcroft got fired. So now, unless it's something we've seen consistently in his game, I don't think that's the time for a coach to step up and make an example of a player.
Some mentions on the stream here that Kane did get benched from K and from JL. Just taking a look at the shift chart here. His last shift in the first period ended with 4:50 on the clock. So let me just check and see where Nugent Hopkins had a shift with a minute left at the 43-second mark. Let me check Zach Hyman here real quick because it's a little bit different. If he cycled through the other lines, 4.5 minutes to not get your second line left winger out there could be a message sent. I just want to make sure we get this right. Zach Hyman's shift ended at 3:33, and then he had another one at the end of the first two. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong time. I just want to get this right. Yeah, so Hyman had a short shift, a minute 12 actually. Hyman went on the ice in the last minute, and then let me just check Nugent Hopkins again because I didn't have that right. Sorry, folks, if this is a little painful, but it's an important point, right? Minute 12 for Ryan Nugent Hopkins as well at the end of the first period. So Evander Kane didn't go out with those two at the end of the first period, and not sure who did, but looks like maybe skipped over a shift towards the end of the first period. So don't know for sure, but might have.
One shift of skipping. I don't think maybe. I don't think that's a huge message you're sending.
Yeah. And if that was even the case, but a nice pickup there by a couple of guys noticing that he wasn't out on the ice late. Okay. That was Takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. When we come back, our new segment, blowing through the rest of the league. I don't know.
Sprinkling the infield.
We're still okay. Well, we've got time. There's no rush. It's a podcast. Right. We have no deadlines. A very short break, and then lots more to come here on the pod. Stay with us. Okay, heroes, are you trying to tough it out through a sports or life injury right now? Trying to prove your mettle by grinding through, gritting your teeth? Well, Redefined Health is here to say it's time to come on in. At Redefined Health, they'll high-five you for your toughness and then get to work on helping you fix the problem. Helping athletes and heroes find better balance, performance, and injury prevention. Visit redefinedhealth.com.
Are you ready to elevate your moving experience? Trusted for over 100 years, Ferguson Moving and Storage are your partners in relocation, ensuring your journey is smooth and stress-free. And say goodbye to surprises with Ferguson's transparent flat rate pricing. Contact them now for a free moving quote and use the promo code Ferguson to receive $100 off your next move. Visit FergusonMoving.com and let them lift your expectations.
All right, plenty more to come still on the podcast. I'm going to try another one of these filters here, Struds, just cuz. Emoji face. What is this one? What did it do?
Oh, boy.
What happened?
It just hides your bad features, that's all.
Oh, wow. Does it actually know what I'm doing, though? I'm not winking. Yeah. Okay, let me try and wink. Okay, I'm going to wink.
Oh, it works. Yeah.
I'm going to smile big right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's a big one. Yeah. Smile and wink. I'm going to say, oh! It wasn't bad. Somehow we've turned into Treehouse TV, like 15 games into the season here, whatever it is, 17 games. All right, Struds, time for our new segment, blowing through the rest of the league. It just doesn't fit. Blowing through the rest. I know it's a play on that stupid thing you said earlier, but I'm not sure it's a fit.
It's true. It's true. But either way, it's brought to you by Backscape. This product is taking the online world by storm right now. It is everywhere. Get rid of unwanted back hair by yourself with Backscape, the water-resistant rechargeable shaver. Coupled with a long handle lets you take care of your business on your own. Shave in any direction with no bumps or cuts. It's easy and it's awesome. Visit backscape.com. That's BAK-scape.com and choose from a variety of package delivered right to your door.
Good stuff. We had a little video in there today. Nice
like
job, Steve. Yeah, it's super convenient. I've used it. It's really cool. And happy to have Backscape on board. Quick look around the National Hockey League. We're going to take 2 points. That's what I thought maybe 2-point convo would be a good. It's not as bad. You guys killed me last night when I suggested it. 2-point convo.
Yeah, my position hasn't changed, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay, I still think it's better than sprinkling the infield. You want to start talking a little Willie Nylander?
I do. So, Willie Nylander is having an unreal season. He started off incredible. He had a great time out there in Sweden. And let's go back to when he signed. He signed a deal that I believe was very team friendly.
Took a while too. Hey, that deal. They were grinding through that back in the day there.
Very, very team friendly. And then you had Austin Matthews sign and Marner's, all these guys had big deals. He is the best value contract in the NHL that isn't on an entry level contract. There's not another better one. So now he's coming up to a time where he is going to be unrestricted free agent after this year, and he's in the perfect position, the perfect position. His buddy signed around him. Austin Matthews signed an extension. It was big bucks, but this guy's got he's got 12 goals and 15 assists. He's one of the leaders in points this year. And he is putting himself in a great position. And I do believe that this really puts the Leafs in a difficult spot. Because can you sign? If I'm Willie Nylander, when they bring a number, you say, "Oh, we're going to give you 10." No. I took the deal last time. I took the team friendly deal last time. Austin didn't. Marner didn't. Tavares didn't. So this time, I'm getting paid. So if you want it, you just got to be starting. I think it's got to be way above what he's at right now. Not double, but way above where he's at. And I can't wait to see this plays out. I could see a scenario where maybe, just maybe, Schauger, they might have to look to trade him, because I don't know how you can sign this guy without trading a Marner. Well, you're not trading Matthews. You're not trading Tavares. So maybe you got to trade him. Honestly, buddy, I don't know how if you sign them, they'll never have a better deal than they have right now.
Yeah. And we know that the back end needs to improve. Man, can you imagine if they did that? I mean, I've been listening to the narrative over the last couple of days. I mean, there's conversations about, like, if you had to pick between the two, between he and Marner, who are you taking? Right? If you had to make a decision between which player to keep on your team, and they might, which player are now, to me, he was always in a different tier than those other guys. Those guys like Matthews and Marner were in one tier, and then you kind of had Nylander in that next mix. But he has pulled himself right up there with those guys. If it costs you Marner, I mean, and you could keep him, I've heard that conversation around Toronto.
Well, I don't believe that there's enough money for all four of those big guys to be signed on the Leafs.
Is he the one you'd move, I guess, is what I'm saying, with the way he's playing?
Well, it would have to be a sign and trade, right? Or a trade and sign, whatever you want to call it, right? I just can't see anything happening where, how can all four stay? You're gonna have four guys making over $10 million.
Yeah,
I just don't see it happen. And then, because what's Austin? He's 3 point something or 13 something. Marner's up there. You got Tavares up there, and then this guy's gonna be north
13-2 for Matthews.
Yeah.
Tavares is 11. Next year is his last year. Mitch is 10.9, Mitch Marner, and then Nylander's in at 6.9 right now.
Yeah. So if I'm Nylander, I'm like, I start at where Marner is at right now. That's
10.9.
That's where it starts. That's where I start the conversation, with the team. And if not, you walk away, because you know what? Someone will pay him, man. Someone will pay him to go somewhere else.
Over on the stream, Mike Smith, who I think got into it with everybody one night, suggesting Leon Draisaitl needed to be traded, says trading Nylander is an excellent option, just like trading Draisaitl. You can fill so many holes. And then he winked at everybody. The Leafs could be a real contender if they use Nylander trade to plug some holes. So he loves the chaos theory. Take those high-end superstar players and fire him out the door and, rob Peter to pay Paul. Another guy, Struds, I saw him at a World Junior Camp, talking about Quinton Byfield here a few years ago. He came in and, you could see the raw talent, but boy, the confidence was that player struggled so much when he was not playing confident. All those tools, and he just had a hard time putting it together. And we're seeing finally what some patience from an organization can do.
Yeah, so Quinton Byfield's a guy that I've watched in the World Juniors too, and I liked him right away. But a big body, right? And sometimes it takes some time to figure out, because when you're a big body in junior, you can toss people around and outreach them and all that, and you're a freak. But when you get to NHL, everybody's a freak there, right? And everyone can do what you've done at their level. So you have to figure out. And I've watched a few of their games this year, and he's really taken a step forward. Now he is playing with Kempe and Kopitar. People think that's easy. It's not easy, because you're kind of like the third singer in a band. And but he's got to work hard, and he's finding his way. And it kind of came to my mind today, because he made an incredible pass to help one of his line mates score.
Yep.
But between his kind of quote unquote arrival and then trading for Pierre-Luc Dubois, they've added the one was a trade, the other one was a draft, but you've essentially added two big, rangy players to your top nine, and that makes it really hard. Now, I know they had to take a couple guys out to make that trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois, but two big guys that can really play the game and play heavy. I think that Byfield will continue to add that to his game. So Byfield's another guy. We talk about these guys stepping up, and Lafreniere we talked about last night, Gustafsson the other night. For teams to continue to develop, you need these guys to grow and develop within your system. And Byfield's done a great job. He's on pace he'll smash it. What did I have him down as? He has 14 points. He's going to smash whatever he had in the past. Point production.
So he played 6 games the first year, had an assist, 40 games in 21-22, and had 10 points, spent a bit of time in the American League. Last season, 53 games in the NHL, had 22 points. And played 6 playoff games as well. And then this season, 3 goals, 11 assists for 14 points. The thing about him is they've been waiting for him. There's been space for him. They've tried him. Remember, he was playing in a top 6 role in the playoffs. They've been waiting for this player. If he would have arrived a year or so earlier, imagine the difference that the LA Kings would have had at a top 6, big, rangy, powerful forward like that against the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
The Kings are already a hell of a good team. And with this guy arriving now, it's even a step further in their depth.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. And the size, I keep going on about the size. We saw it with the Vegas Golden Knights and their size through their 12 forwards, and they're definitely their D. You want to have that size to hold on to the puck and fight guys off and not to get pushed off the puck. And he's going to have that. So now he's kind of figuring out his game and how to play at the NHL level. Just think what he looks like in a couple of years when he gets the confidence and understanding how big and strong he is and what he can do to other players when he does have that puck.
Vegas, LA, Vancouver. When did the Pacific turn into this?
Yeah. Well, there's supposed to be 4 teams in there, right?
Yeah.
The Oilers are supposed to be fighting for that. And I did not have Vancouver up there. I definitely had the 2 California teams in the Oilers. It's
not smoke and mirrors though, man. They're still they're hanging in there.
Who's that?
Vancouver.
Yeah, they're hanging. Well, they have 3 of the top leading scorers in the league on their team, and one's a D-man. That guy's on fire. So he can't keep that up all year, that point production, but he is playing really well right now. And his partner is helping him, obviously.
All right. That was 2 Point Convo brought to you by Backscape. That flowed pretty well, Struddy.
It's not bad. It's
I
going.
feel like that flowed.
Kind of like your back hair.
Not anymore. Thanks to Backscape. All right. When we come back, give us a little preview, Struddy. What's coming up in Struddy's world? Just a couple of words.
Oh, fighting as a big man.
Fighting as a big man. Struddy's world. Got to stick around for it. Very short break. The Edmonton Sport and Social Club is YEG's top destination for adult recreational sports, offering over 20 different options, including ball hockey, indoor volleyball, pickleball, and now ice hockey for all you fans out there looking to lace them up for the first time or get back into the game after a few years off, like Struddy. Sign up by December 13th for the winter season beginning mid-January at edmontonsportsclub.com.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmot Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmot.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Oh, boy.
You're muted. We can see your face, but we can't hear your voice.
Yeah, it's hard to take.
Kind of ruins the joke when you keep your mic muted, hey? Time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Pathfind. If you're a business leader, when it's time to make tough cuts, remember the power of a well-executed strategy. Include Pathfind outplacement services for your transitioning employees, and you'll be ensuring a smooth transition for your valued team members. Visit www.pathfind.ca to discover how they can assist you. Struddy, what do you got today, bud?
You know, when it comes to playing NHL, there's a few things I know about, and then fighting is one of them. And, you know, I've watched Vinny now fight quite a few times, and I would like to talk to him, if I could, about what to do when you're fighting, when you're a big guy. When you're a big guy and you're fighting, almost everyone is the same size or a little bit smaller than you. They want to bring you in tight. So they're trying to pull you in tight so it reduces your advantage of your reach. And this took me a while to figure out, and I took a lot of beatings when I did this. So if you watch Vinny fight, especially tonight, go back and watch the fight tonight. What he does is a lot of times he'll get a short grab on the guy and his elbows are bent, and then he allows the other guy to pull him in, and actually Vinny brings his head down and he gets down lower right towards where the guy's at. And the guy's able to reach him because he's allowing himself to be pulled first in and then his head down. And so he's placing it right where the guy's hitting him. What you need to do instead is, as a fighter, a taller guy, especially when you're fighting a shorter guy, you have to push your arm out as far as you can and grab either one or the other shoulders and just push and hold him out. And if he tries to punch you, instead of putting your head down and closer to him, turn your head away and just continue to battle to get that grip you want. Then once you get the grip you want, now you engage, because the whole time your head's turned, he's not reaching you with the fist, that's for sure. And if he is, they're just hitting the back of your head or your neck, which is nothing. So now you've got him, what I'd call, you string him out and push him out, and then you've got the ability to just fly those punches in as you're going. But go back and watch that fight tonight, Schauger, and all my friends listening. He comes in and he comes down. And then the much shorter man is able to connect and tee off on him. Instead of getting pulled in, you push out. And then with one hand, you push out even further, keep your head back. And now you're really raining down the blows from upon high.
Yeah. That's really interesting strategy from a guy who is similar in size and has had to do it in yourself. How would you describe Vinny as a fighter? And he's showing that he's willing, and I am not going to criticize him in any way, shape, or form, but how would you describe him as a fighter in the league?
I think he's very inexperienced in his fighting. And I'll like, when I was 20, 21, 22, I was doing the same thing. I was pulling guys in. It feels safe. Come in there and give this old bear a hug. You know, like it's the exact opposite of what you want to do. Then as I got older and I started got uncomfortable, you started realizing that the more distance you have between you and the other fighter, it actually benefits you. Unless you're fighting a bigger guy, then you got to bring him in. But it's really hard to do. And it takes, this isn't something you just change in one fight, because it happens so fast. It's just happening. Next thing you know, this guy's gloves are off and you're all scrapping. It takes time to kind of find that groove of feeling comfortable and pushing guys back and making it happen. So, who works on it with him? There's really no one on the team that could really experience or has the experience of doing what he's going through. Louis DeBrusque would be a pretty good guy, but Louis liked to pull guys in a bit too, because he was so strong.
Powerful. Yeah. Vinny's like, you don't sense Vinny's throwing guys around necessarily, right? He's the seaweed man, right? He's
but that's what you do. Like, I went through the same thing. You're kind of clutching and grabbing. You're not really doing anything, but really, essentially, in a nutshell, you just set yourself up and get yourself set up first while the little guy is kind of hitting you. and he's really not hitting. He might be hitting your shoulders, your neck, or whatever.
That Gadjevic's decent scrapper, though, eh?
Who's that?
Gadjevic, the guy he fought tonight.
Yeah, he did really well. He did really well.
It was a good fight, like long, drawn out.
But it was good because Vinny he kind of allowed himself to get within striking distance of his punches, his opponent's punches. So I would have, and so again, the only reason I'm not criticizing, I've just been through it, and it took me probably 3 or 4 full years of fighting to figure it out.
Gadjevic was looking for it from Evander Kane that shift. He went looking for Evander Kane that shift, and then he went in front of the Oiler net and made something happen with Desharnais. We criticized Desharnais for his timing the other night. This, much different. Florida had just crawled their way back into the game, Struds, but fair to say, although it happened in the flow of play and there was clear frustration there, but timing still matters. Much better timing from the big man.
Really smart. Now, he really didn't have a choice. But for the flip side, I didn't like the timing for Florida. That's poor game management. But, how many shifts are you getting? So it's not like you can say, well, I'll do it 3 shifts from now. 3 shifts from now might be, you might be taking that lap after the game. So it is tough. And again, I never criticize anyone that fights. You just try to help and just say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. I remember there's a guy named Travis Moe, and he played with me in Chicago, and he went on to win some Stanley Cup with Anaheim. He was very young and very energetic and enthusiastic with his fighting. You just said, okay, let's just look at this. Think about this. Be a little more strategic rather than come out and just trying to, punch everybody's heads off.
Yeah. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by our good friends over at Pathfind. Okay, you've been waiting patiently on the stream, so let's get to Ask Us Anything. Brought to you by the Shark of the Park, Renee Buclan of Maxwell Devonshire Realty. Home is a feeling, right? And one of the biggest investments you will ever make. Renee takes on just a select number of clients to give them a more personalized service. So see why she was rated the #1 individual agent this past year with her skilled negotiation and 5-star client satisfaction, serving Sherwood Park, Edmonton, and surrounding area. Call Renee, the Shark of the Park, 780-994-0280. Somebody chimed in here, Steve, saying that on another post-game show, there was a bunch of chatter about McDavid being a cancer in the room. That's how off the mark it's gotten with some other shows. Not Got Your Back, right? Our listeners, our viewers, they stay a little more focused and on point than that, Steve. But what are they saying tonight?
Okay, yeah, lots of fun stuff on the stream. Some comments about our newest sponsor. Yeah.
Backscape. Nice.
2Bar24 said, how about they back skate once in a while?
Oh, let's go. Jeez. There you go. Hey, a little play on words.
Yeah. Loach1717 said that man in the ad there looked burly. I wonder if he can play D.
Yeah, he was thick. He was a big guy there. Yeah, for sure.
I didn't want to do the ad, but I said, I'll do it.
Yeah.
No.
Why are you guys laughing?
Sorry.
Yeah. You have love handles, don't you? You have love handles yet? You do, don't you, Struddy?
Yeah, I've got love handles.
You have love handles?
I'm almost 50, man.
Yeah, that makes me feel better. That's good. I've had love handles since I was 25.
Roger asks, Struddy, what's the official coaching advice for a D-man on a 2-on-1? Is there any situation where the D-man should lay down like Nurse did?
I don't like it. I don't like it when they lay down. Every 2-on-1 plays differently. Like Mikko Makala's coming down the left side. He's a left shot. So he's not, that shot from out there isn't that dangerous. If he's a righty coming down, it's a little bit different because it sticks on the inside. So the angle is different. Who's the guy he's coming with on the other side? Is that guy a threat? So let's say it's Ovechkin going down the ice with Jason Strudwick. Well, go at Ovechkin because you want him to pass it to Jason Strudwick. I'll take the chances with my goalie stopping on Jason Strudwick, but you don't do that if Jason Strudwick has the puck. You don't go at him knowing he's going to throw the puck over to Ovechkin. So every situation is so different. It's hard for me to just say this is a one-size-fits-all. But I don't like when players go down because once you lose that, you lack your ability of movement, and players will skate around you. They're too skilled.
I'm just going to chill here for a bit. I'm just going to lay low. So, Steve, you just blast him at Struddy, and you guys just rapid fire. Bang him out, baby. I'm just going to sit back and relax.
Zoe R says, do the Oilers employ a sports psychologist? We keep using the team mental mistakes. Have they tried working with someone who specializes in mental health? How much do you know about that, Struddy?
Well, when I played in the Oilers many years ago, we had a sports psychologist then. So, we had one 15 years ago, so I'm assuming they have access to one now. But mental mistakes, it's different than saying mental toughness or that you need to work through with something and then get techniques to kind of get over a bad play or a really good play or whatever, a slump. Mental mistakes I'm talking about, they're not physical ones. It's where you maybe don't focus for a couple seconds or you lose track of what you need to do. So I don't think it's exactly the same as when you talk sports psychologists and we use the term mental mistakes.
And I'll just remind you, at the start of the season, the Oilers had, and I can't quite recall his name, but they did have that renowned sports, I don't know if he's a psychologist, the one that worked with Kobe Bryant way back in the day. If you recall, I did some reporting. I tweeted that they had him around training camp for a number of days there. So they did do a little bit of that in the early days.
All right. Kiwadi says, I liked Pickard's rebound control tonight. Just needed a save on that second goal, but not his fault at all. Our D zone coverage is atrocious. But yeah. Talk about Pickard's game, but yeah, good game by him. Bob's your uncle says Oilers are displaying a habit of doing what was missing, scoring first, and then they are being read. The opposition reacts, and we keep snowplowing.
Well, I mean, you get a 2-goal lead. That's a pretty good start, right? And a team that's played really well. They're missing their top center. Arguably they're one of their top 2 or 3 players. That's a pretty good place to be. And then they allow them back in the game. And then not to be able to just weather the storm. Like you get, let's say it's 2-1, and you say, guys, we don't need to score the rest of this period. Let's just weather the storm, get out of this period ahead, and then we'll just kind of talk about what's going on after. So, it's game management. I don't really know how else to phrase it. Just understanding the moment and not having to win, the Stanley Cup in the second period of game in Florida in November.
Calvin Best says, Struds, have you ever been on a team with as low confidence as the Oilers right now? Take us into the dressing room. What's needed in the dressing room to work through this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you play it's different though. Like I played on some bad teams. So you're just dogs. And you look at the board and look at your team like, oh, we're not very good. And you look at the other team and like, yeah, they could win the Stanley Cup. But this team has skill. This team has experience. This team has the knowledge of how to play well and to weather these storms and to dig out of this. But their inability to do so is just incredible. And it's got to be, and I'm not saying incredible like brutal, but just it's really an incredible thing that no one seems to be able to figure out or to manage.
Steve, you've probably seen it on the stream tonight quite a bit too, and honestly a lot this season. Struds, the idea that the Oilers need to in some way focus a little bit more on the future because the season is going the way that it's going. I don't believe that it's that time, and I don't think that's where the organization is at all. But what kind of changes do you think there could be if this doesn't swing back in the right direction and it's clearly going to be a death march to a missed playoff? Like, how does that change your big picture strategy?
Well, it's funny. I was actually looking at Cat Friendly today and seeing what would be out there for moves.
Yeah.
What they can do. And there's not that many that would be available. There's some low hanging fruit, the Warren Fogle, maybe move him out. I think he's playing well, but you probably can't sign him. Because you got to find a goalie, and then you probably have to buy out Campbell in this offseason. I'm guessing would probably what would be, Connor Brown, if he plays better, would that be a player you trade? Let's say Connor at the trade deadline has 12 goals. Is that a guy you can move out and get something back? I don't know how that would work with the bonus. Do you know, Schauger? If you trade him, does the bonus is a whole bonus on your team next year? How would that work?
No, I think the bonus. That's a good question. Actually, we need Gregor. Gregor's always got that stuff on lock, or Hart Levine over at Cap Friendly. I think it goes with the player. I would think.
Well, the whole amount can't go with the player. You think that'd be maybe? I don't know. I bet because he doesn't have a contract for next year. Like
who's trading for him?
Well, I'm saying if he gets going, right? If he gets going, and and the Oilers, let's say the Oilers keep $2 million of it or whatever, right? Like, are they really not keeping $2 million? It'll only be really $750. See, that's the problem. So they're keeping $750. Like he's such a cheap player, but what happens to the signing bonus? Did somebody prorate it for next year?
Connor Brown's, you mean? Whoa, big sneeze, buddy.
Yeah,
big
Connor
sneeze.
Brown.
Well, he's got the bonuses. He's got 3 and change for bonuses.
I know, but what happens with
that 10?
If they trade him let's say he goes and gets 15 goals between now and the trade deadline, and the Oilers are in the playoffs. If they trade him, I know what happens to the 750 he has.
Yeah.
That's prorated. But what happens to that bonus? Because he could be a really valuable piece. Like if he really gets on a heater and they don't have to pay for any of that bonus, that could be a really valuable piece to trade.
Yeah, you know what? Really good point. You know, I'm going to text Hart and get a little bit of clarification on that, because I don't want to get it wrong right now. I think I know, but I don't necessarily want to get that wrong. Steve, let's do a couple more. We'll wrap it up.
Mike Smith has a suggestion for a new segment on the podcast. He says Ryan on Ryan, where Rishaug just takes McLeod to the woodshed after every game.
Okay. I know. I got to pick my spots. The issue is, if you're not scoring, what are you doing? That's the issue I have.
Fair point.
Right? What are you doing to try and get yourself back on the right side of it? And he's a player that doesn't have a lot of other tools to get himself back on the right side of it when the offense isn't coming. So now you got me going again. I was going to limit myself tonight, and then you guys go and you piss me off, and then it just all goes sideways again.
Ontario asks, Struds, do you have you been trained for fighting before? George Larocque does training in Montreal for fighting. It was when we were talking about fighters.
Coaching kids?
Yeah, just coaching
not really.
NHL players how to fight.
Yeah, no one's ever asked. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I mean, you can teach and you can do it, but to be honest, to get better at it, you have to do it. That's the only way. I don't know. That's the only way I see him getting better.
There's a filter here called Lightning. I could try it. You try the Lightning filter here? What did that do?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Lightning on your face.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's
kind of
underwhelming.
I'm not sure if this was really
not a fan.
Seems like a real time waster. But
well, what do you want to do, Struds? Talk more about the team, the way that it's gone?
Well, I think we get the gem of the day.
Yeah, wrap it up. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Rini Bouclan. Time for Gem of the Day. Brought to you by United Sport and Cycle. Until November 27th, shop their Black Friday sales for amazing deals on hockey gear, sticks, skates, bikes, accessories, and more. Check them out online at unitedsport.ca. I guess my Lightning filter isn't the Gem of the Day. Struds?
Yeah, that's a low. I'm going to go with our friend. What's his name now? Ekholm. And you've got the quote there that I love that he says about weathering the storm.
Weathering the storm. All right, we'll hear it. Matthias Ekholm, our Gem of the Day. It's a longer clip, but here we go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have a new coach as well, right? And he wants to implement what he believes in, and we're trying to adjust, and not to put that as an excuse, but I think it's a work in progress, and it's something that when it is a work in progress, maybe, especially when you're saying we've had some good starts, we've gotten up. Maybe it's time for them to go through 5 guys. Maybe we can err on the air of caution, right? And not try to score that third one just right there, and just let it go 5. Let it go 10 minutes without them getting anything. Have to go through 5 guys of us. Obviously, they can score anyways, but right now I feel like we maybe give goals up a little bit too easy, and they don't really have to fight and crawl back in a game. It's kind of just come right back to 2-2, right? So that's on us. That's something we need to be better at. And a
long clip, but I'm making a real good point. Who is Matthias Ekholm there, Struds?
I love it. I absolutely love it. He nailed it. He is must listen pre and post game.
He is good. He's become a real go-to guy for the media. All right, that's going to wrap up the podcast.
Oh my God,
it's a one-time only thing.
You're bad. Save your filters for like Drager and Ferraros
this is simple humor.
LeBron.
This is simple stuff.
We're tired of it. We're tired of it here.
It's a
one crazy somewhere else.
It's a one podcast thing. It's new technology. You can play around a little bit. That'll wrap the podcast, folks. Thanks so much for your downloads and your subscriptions, and thanks for your contributions on the stream. We appreciate it. And a big thanks also to our title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC. More podcasts coming up in the days ahead. So like and subscribe and follow us on your socials. Struddy, I'm going to send you that program so you can do the same thing.
Love it. Thank you.
Night, everybody.